Hey, I'm sorry my last video got cut short by a call, but I'm not gonna do this again because it's a long story and it's gonna take so much time. So I'm just gonna continue from where I left off and hopefully I will make sense. I think the last thing I talked about was how the parenteral nutrition procedure is a very high risk procedure and the patient should be monitored, and if a patient develops suddenly very strange symptoms, it should be the first thing to be considered is that it is causing side effects, and even more if like the patient's heart rate is very high and stuff like this is happening, then the first thing is to discontinue a therapy that has high risk. Then the first thing should not be just sedating a patient that so that she would, stop complaining about her symptoms, which was done with me in the hospital. So yeah, that definitely wasn't like the right choice of action that they did there. Um, so, but that's how it was, and after that, there were so many doctor's visits and stuff going on. Like I had to do everything myself. Like I had to go to a private pulmonologist, private cardiologist. I had to do all the tests privately because I didn't get any referrals. And I mean, I tried everything I could. I mean, I just begged for help, but fortunately, didn't got the help I needed, and it took a huge toll on my personality. I got so angry and so desperately frustrated because I knew what was going on with me was like very serious and dangerous, and nobody, like none of the doctors didn't take me seriously at all. Mostly I was treated like a child or something. And I got so traumatized by everything that in the end, I just was a angry and frustrated person. I just couldn't accept the fact that my life is over and I'm gonna just suffer and suffer and suffer, and nobody's going to do anything about it. and that's how it has been. And I just wish that it will like somehow get better by itself, or that it would just stop like getting worse, like that it would like just somehow stabilize, but it didn't. It like the symptoms got more worse in time, and of course some did become a little bit better. Like for example, the first reaction I got from this solution, it was like I couldn't literally like breathe normally at all for 2 months, I think. It was a very like long period of time where it was like 24/7 breathing difficulties. Like no matter if I was like lying down or doing something, I had them like all the time. That got somewhat better, but the headaches got worse and more frequent, and with them also like some neurological symptoms that I have, and my cognitive function is definitely not what it used to be, and of course my behavior and mental health. Well, you can imagine what it does to a person if you can't do anything anymore. Like you live in isolation. You can't walk, swim, run, go to concerts, go to restaurants. You can't even taste and smell the way you used to. You have so many symptoms all the time and a lot of pain. And on top of everything, you are not taken seriously, even by the closest people. I mean, like family members. And you are only left with the best friends you had, a few ones who know you and who saw what happened, and who know that this is not imagined, that this is a real thing, because they have been there the whole time. But they have their own lives, and I mean, no one has the time to just focus on one sick person, and so you get isolated and you feel very alone in this. And most of the time you are physically alone, you can't just go for a walk outside, or do stuff like that if you want to, even if you really want to. And every time I do try to overdo myself, it ends up really badly. Believe me, I have tried to walk and even go to the shop by myself and do all that stuff, but it's very dangerous for me to do it now. So and it has ended with a catastrophe every time. So yeah, it's very difficult place to be in, both physically and mentally, and knowing I think that the fact that you know that there isn't any hope to get better, and that this will end with living this Earth. It's a very, very. I would like to use the word strange place to be. I mean, mentally also, like, it goes against your survival instinct to accept something like that and just to calmly deal with the fact that because of some careless medical worker, your life was completely ruined. And now, when you are at the end of it, you are still not taken seriously. You are still not getting, even not getting like this, how to say, how would, like comfort. I mean, like proper pain medication and, all that, or support. Even at the end of it, you're still isolated and alone, and the medical field is still just kind of not dealing with it. Let's just say that. Even when you now have like this severe disability, and the fact is out there that your cardiopulmonary function is almost non-existent and all that, still it's like, you know, not being dealt with, and you just have to somehow deal with it alone. This is heavy, heavy on your heart, heavy on your mind, heavy on your spirit, and it's very difficult not to lose yourself completely. And, to accept the reality of the situation. And also, I mean, the, now that the other thing I want to talk about is that now that I have the taste of how it is to live um, a disabled person's life in Estonia, I also want to talk about that part, because I can see here major problems that need to be addressed, and I will do that in the next part, because things in this country are not right. And well, in Estonia we have like this first Estonia and second. That's the literal translation of it. The first Estonia means all the people who live like mostly in Tallinn or Tartu, and are living large. All those hipsters and designers and photographers and programmers and politicians and celebrities, musicians who, earn good money and are like have authority in the society, and from their perspective, I guess life here is quite well, you know. But all the other people in our country are living on on like the edge of you know, on the border of poverty, and and I want to address this in the other video. I'm sorry, I'm slow and I'm making a lot of mistakes in my English because it's very hard for me to focus, and as I said, my cognitive function is not what it used to be, so I keep forgetting words and I can't recall the right words and I make grammatical mistakes. I wasn't like that before, believe me. But I just hope that you will understand what I'm talking about. That's the point here. So yeah, it's not easy, but all I can do is just talk about what is going on and what are my thoughts about it, and that's all I can do. If I will be heard or not, this is not in my hands anymore. And well, if someone will hear me, and if it will somehow help someone somewhere, then my work is done, I guess. Thanks for hearing my thoughts.